our competitors recognize the realities of the computer age.
The world around us is changing at a pace faster than ever before. New technologies are emerging that are fundamentally altering how we think about, plan, and prepare for war.
It's remarkable what the Chinese have been able to do in a very short amount of time. We recognize that the key to this is artificial intelligence, but we're not the only ones who understand that. Russia understands it, China understands it. The reality is that at some point, someone will put us to the test.
Whichever nation harnesses AI first will have a decisive advantage on the battlefield for many, many years. We have to get there first.
Artificial intelligence. It's a game changer. And the United States Air Force is looking to AI to improve every facet of the service. Before we talk about artificial intelligence, though, we first have to understand the OODA Loop. The OODA Loop is a decision-making strategy that provides an upper hand in any competitive environment. In air-to-air combat, this tool enables pilots to observe a situation, orient themselves with all factors and variables involved, then decide and act based off of all the data consumed. Though it was a method originally used by fighter pilots, today this tool has a dynamic range of use, and in an atmosphere as competitive as the military, whoever can find an advantage quicker than the enemy wins. But how does AI play into all this?
Artificial intelligence has a capability to significantly speed our OODA loops at every level, tactical, operational, and strategic. Each one of those functions has an associated timeline to them. So artificial intelligence has an ability to shrink those timelines, fundamentally shrinking our OODA loop.
Where do we look to identify and use artificial intelligence? Along the observe and orient side of the OODA loop. The things that provide better insights to people, augment them so they have time and space to think about things they could never have thought of before. There's a lot of data out there. There's no possible way that any human can go through every Excel file in the United States Air Force and consume that and then make sense of it. But I can tell you, there's a computer that is, and it can illuminate new strategies. That's the difference in the digital age.
With massive amounts of data to make sense of, artificial intelligence is being added to the mix to assist humans in digesting the vast amounts of information needed to make sensible decisions. The 412 Test Wing out of Edwards Air Force Base, California, is one unit at the forefront of the Air Force's AI efforts.
You'll hear things, people talk about data is now a weapon. So let's take every domain and say there's, X number of sensors in that domain. Well, now as you start including cyber and start including space, how do you build a center where all of those sensors, all the air, all the space, all the ground, all the naval, everything comes into one place. So what we do is we take all the data that exists, everything that's available, and filter it correctly so a decision maker only has the pieces that they need to make that decision so they don't get quickly overwhelmed by it. And if you can do that in seconds and your adversary can't, that's where you move ahead.
What we have in the Air Force and throughout the DoD are very unique, very challenging problems that the commercial sector just simply doesn't have. It's critical that we match that talent with those problems, and that's one of the biggest reasons why we have to partner with academia and with the private sector. But the other reason is they have on their own a different type of competitive environment where they have learned how to iterate very, very quickly. They are in a competitive environment where they've got to figure out a whole different system that fundamentally speeds their OODA loop. So that created a culture of small teams developing capabilities and being innovative, and a lot of bottom-up innovation which was valued and cultivated. And I think that that culture is something we desperately need in the military.
It's no secret that for decades, the commercial sector has adopted methods used by the military in order to bolster their competitive edge. Similarly, to maintain dominance in the digital age, the Air Force is embedding airmen of all ranks and backgrounds into academia and industry across the nation. One of these small innovative teams is an AI tech accelerator operating out of MIT in Cambridge, Massachusetts.
This is a different model of acquiring tech. One of the great drivers to partner with MIT is we wanted to partner with best in brand, best in breed. We intentionally come to a place like MIT. We intentionally do projects with some of the best principal investigators on the planet, and we intentionally embed US airmen of all different ranks and backgrounds to be here to solve problems that make a difference for airmen. So the idea here is the Air Force attempting a new way of going after technology that disrupts seemingly every couple of weeks or so. So everything that we look at as an accelerator is about delivering capability. So it's not research, it's application and delivery with speed. Our acquisition system as a whole is slow. There are nations around the world in which they have the ability to do very rapid advances. People around the world can compete with the United States and they don't have to build a B-2 bomber or an aircraft carrier to do it. These types of technologies can come about from someone's garage. So there was a realization that this is the new world and we need to get after this. The only way that we make AI real for airmen is if we field capability, we get feedback, we fix, we deploy the next version of it. And what I've learned very much so in this world is there's no such thing as declaring victory in artificial intelligence, machine learning. There's no single point in time where we go, we win and we walk away. It has to be a continuous engagement.